Estamos en una nueva entrevista para Chilevisión Noticias, en este caso, con un invitado muy especial, con una conexión muy importante con nuestro país. Estamos junto a Tom Morello. Tom, how are you? How do you feel about being here in Chile? It's a standard question. We have been doing this a lot of times, but how do you feel about being here? You have a great connection with the Chilean audience.
Yeah, it's always great to be here. It is literally my number one favorite place to play in the entire planet. I've had some of my favorite shows of my life here, and I anticipate having one more tonight.
I had to ask you, you recently dropped a new single. What inspires you right now, musically speaking, and what are the challenges right now for you, musically speaking? Because basically everything you touch is gold. You've been in Rage Against the Machine, you've been in Audioslave.
Sure, well, I've made 21 albums in my life, between Rage, between Audioslave, Prophets of Rage, and my solo work, but this will be my first solo rock album. So I want to combine the best of what I do with the big Rage Against the Machine riffs, with my songwriting, which is maybe more influenced by Dylan or Springsteen or Roger Waters. And I've been touring over the course of the last 5 years or so with my backup band, the Freedom Fighter Orchestra, playing songs from, honoring the legacy of Chris Cornell, playing the Rage Against the Machine music that the world needs right now, and having my own songs as well. So I want to make an album that reflects that. One of the challenges in these very, very challenging times politically in my country and in your country is to try to make music that meets the moment, make music that is both disruptive and uniting.
Last time we spoke, we talked about what is the people asking from their artists. And you said something that I really remember, which is, what can artists also ask from people too? What do you think right now artists can ask from people?
Exactly, yeah. I think it's somewhat an unfair question. It's like, what are artists doing or what are musicians doing? The better question is, what are you doing? And whatever your vocation is, whether you're a journalist, whether you're a musician, a student, a carpenter, that we each have to stand up in our place, in our time. I try in my music, because I have very firm beliefs, in my heart about injustice and about anti-racism and immigrant rights, et cetera, that I feel compelled to make my music about that and to try to make the best music I can with the truest version of myself in it, and to try to continue to connect with audiences around the world.
Recently we were talking with the crew, we are living in crazy times, but also we thought something like, this is not crazy times, this is pretty logic with the people which is in power, what's happening right now. Today there was a bombing in Iran again. We're living in a pretty violent times too. Sure. What do you think right now musics have to do to fight against this violence which is taking over the world?
Yeah, well, we are living in very militaristic times where there's the rise of fascism in my country, maybe in throughout Latin America as well. And what we can do is what we've always done. There's two things that are constants in the 20th and 21st century. One is right-wing minded people suppressing human rights, like feeding on racism and prejudice and being militaristic and murdering innocent civilians. There's also, that's on the one hand. The other hand, there has always been resistance to that. Some of my favorite, some of the things that have been most important to me as an artist and as an activist have been the acts of resistance against fascism here in Chile. From Salvador Allende to Victor Jara, one of my great musical and activist heroes, that we've fought against it before and we've won. We will continue to fight against it now until we win.
Let's talk about resistance, because you have been a great part of the resistance from ICE in Los Angeles. You have been playing in protests over there. Right now, what is the climate over there? What is the situation over there, so the Latin American audience here in Chile can understand it better?
Sure. It's very dangerous, especially for immigrants, especially for women, especially for people of color, especially for intellectuals, progressives, people who are willing to it's a terrible time for free speech. We're now having book burnings outside of universities. They're trying to whitewash the history of the United States and suppress knowledge about civil rights, the fight for women's rights, for LGBTQ rights, et cetera. And it's a really dangerous, overseas we see this kind of imperialistic military action across the globe, the United States funding genocide in Palestine, Lebanon, the illegal, immoral war in Iran. But at the same, like I said, that's on the one hand, we're also seeing resistance to that. In my city of Los Angeles, the communities have really united to protect our neighbors. There's the people that follow the ICE vehicles around with whistles to blow to let people know. I was just in Minneapolis, where the government has killed 2 American citizens and continue to brutalize the population. We played a show for them there to raise money for the victims of those who were murdered, and you just feel that the country there's so many millions of people that are not willing to take it, and we constantly have to use every bit of our intelligence, creativity, power, and courage every day to try to fight back. When the world has changed for progressive, radical, or even revolutionary ways, it's been changed by people no different than you, no different than me, no different than anybody watching right now. History is not something happens. History and music have something in common. They're not something that happens, they're something that we make. Okay? None of us are on the sidelines. None of us are on the sidelines.
It's your experience.
That's right. So it's what you do or fail to do during your time, which will determine what tomorrow is, what the next generation is, and generations beyond that. That's the way that I look at it.
There is some particular idea or some particular reflection that you have been making recently, something maybe about this or something maybe about other topic in music. There's an idea maybe during the creation of this new album that you're doing that is rounding your head right now?
Sure, yeah. I mean, one of the things that's I've been very inspired on this so far, this very short Latin American tour, is the idea of memory and justice, memory, truth, and justice. Because I see in the history of Argentina, in the history of Chile, like how important it is to remember the atrocities, how important it is to remember the crimes, how important it is to speak the truth, how important it is to remember the heroism of those who resisted. Whereas currently, today in my country, they are erasing memory, they are erasing truth, they are erasing justice. So this trip already has been very inspiring to me to bring this message back to the United States.
Recently, you were not only in the Victor Jara grave and Salvador Allende grave, you also have been reuniting with some mothers from the Mayo Plaza in Argentina. There's something that particularly stuck into your head after that. You have something that you took from that experience that maybe you are now taking to the stage? Yeah,
well, every time that I am in Argentina, I walk the Plaza de Mayo and meet the mothers. Every time I'm in Chile, I visit the graves of Victor Jara and Salvador Allende. They're just very inspiring to me. And as I was a young, like a teenage activist, I remember those struggles like as they were happening. So to be able to pay my respects and to honor the memory of those who have passed is very important to me. But I also realize that those struggles are alive today. And those struggles will be very much, well, wait till you see the show. The show incorporates ideas from my visits yesterday to Victor Jara's grave, and incorporates ideas from my visit of the, Abuelas de Mayo. And it's very important for me to take that history and bring it to today so that we do have memory, we do have truth, we do have justice, and we certainly have rock and roll.
You are optimistic for the future?
It's less a matter of optimism, is that there's work to be done. I mean, I wish we were at a point where we lived in some sort of utopia where everyone had food and housing and equal rights and human rights, but we don't. So I can't retire yet. I'm going to have to play a lot more shows and write a lot more songs. I'm happy to do that as much as I can here in Chile.
And we will be there, interview you again and again and again, because it's so awesome to speak with you, Estuvimos acá junto a Tom Morello para Televisión Noticias, primera jornada Lollapalooza Chile. El equipo de Televisión Noticias sigue desplegado acá, en el Parque O'Higgins.